What's on top of your camper? What's behind your RV? What's under your floor mats and upholstery? What's Dave doing to that Camaro? All these questions and more will be answered next on Motorhead Garage.
Hey, welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, you've caught us right in the middle of a neat project that Sam and I are working on, and that is this 57 Chevy here. We're putting in some Koolmats on here, and you know, Sam, anytime anybody restores a car, builds a hot rod, what's one of the first things they run into?
Well, you need to get something to keep the heat out, keep the cold in, make your air conditioner work better, make the thing sound good. You know how echoey it is in here. You want it to be like a tomb, and this Koolmat is great stuff.
It does, and we've got a special guest with us, Pat Hill from Koolmat. You brought us a kit here. Tell us a little bit more about this.
While you guys do that, I'm going to go cut the stuff for the back.
Well, what's nice about the Koolmat is it's a composite, which means we cooked it to 1,000 degrees. To curb the heat on the floor, you need a material that's not glued together. You need a composite. And a composite's a lot stronger. It lasts to like 1,000 degrees radiant heat. If you combine two pieces of material, like this is a 1,200 degree Owens Corning fiberglass. And it's a 1/4 inch piece of silicone from Owens Corning also.
So that's really bonded together into one piece.
They're put in a Viton press, squeezed together, and then cooked to 1,000 degrees.
Now, if somebody wants to put Koolmat into their car, you got things for all the popular models, right?
Right, most all of them.
But in this particular case, like this 57 Chevy, it's been modified a little bit. What do you do?
Well, we would probably ask for how many square feet they were looking for, and then I keep 30-inch wide material down in North Carolina, and we keep 60 wide at the factory in Ohio. We just measure out how many square feet they want, roll it off on whichever width we have, and it gets shipped UPS ground to them with instructions on how to install it.
So there you go, folks. If you have modified it and you want to put this in, they send you enough so you can do the job, cut the pieces, you can custom make it for whatever you're trying to do. Now, what's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they do install Koolmat?
Well, they don't read the instructions. It says the top of the material is silicone, so glue will not stick to the silicone. You have to have silicone to stick the silicone. Any glue will glue. You can glue it down.
Like a contact cement?
Yes. And then once you've got it glued down and you're looking at the finished product, you're going to run a bead of silicone to seal the slits where you butted the two pieces of material together.
All right, let's go ahead and get some glue on this, and we'll start gluing this in.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
All right, folks, what we've done now is we've gone ahead and we've put silicone here on all the seams around here. Now, Pat, why is that important to do?
Because you don't want any air or liquid to come through the material.
And it helps seal that whole area, so really it just contains everything in there, doesn't it?
Right.
That's a good thing to do. And of course, if some of the material pops up a little bit, just put a little bit of a weight or something on there till that silicone seals up. And of course, in this particular car, you know, this has been modified inside a little bit. It's not totally stock, so consequently, we've had to kind of cut some things around and modify the material in order to make it fit properly. So you're going to run into that. Well, anyway, I think Sammy is probably still working on the rest of it, but anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by and bringing this. This is going to make this car real cool and real quiet.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, come back. We got a lot more here on Motorhead Garage. You know, Sam takes forever to do stuff. He's lazy.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. And by Low Car Performance Products, quality, plain and simple. And by Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GM A-body parts and accessories.
One more, Davey, and this is done. Perfect.
All right, pull that cable, see if this pedal's gonna work. I got it hooked up.
All right, hold on a second. Here we go.
All right.
That feels good and smooth. It's working good?
You're in business, buddy.
You got that all tight on the brake
Yep,
pedal?
it's all good shape. Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, if you've done any towing, and I'm talking about towing a vehicle behind like a motorhome or another vehicle, you need to have the right equipment to do that, and that's what Sam and I just got done installing here.
Right. What we did here is on this cable, this is part of a brake system that actually applies the foot brake, the service brake in the vehicle that you're towing. And we're going to show you how all this stuff works.
Sure, it's a real easy installation. It goes through a cable that you run right up through here, drill a hole in your firewall, run the cable up and hook it to your brake pedal, and then you're in business. Now, while you're talking about that, I'm going to get the motorhome so we get this hooked up.
All right, good. We can go for a ride. What we've got here is a bunch of stuff, and this is from NSA RV Products. And this is a surge brake made of steel, and it's all mechanical. And to help me explain how you use it and how it works, got Todd Westerfeld here from NSA Products. Now tell me about this.
This is a supplemental brake system that has a surge brake built into the head of it right here.
Okay.
This fits into the receiver on a motorhome.
Right.
And then it has this actuating arm sticking up out the top of it. And it's got this clevis sticking up here. And it's got this other cable that hooks onto that. And that's what hooks onto the front of the pickup truck that you just installed and was pulling on. And these products mount on there. And the way the product actually works is whenever you step on the brakes on the motorhome, the weight of the pickup truck pushes on that, and this black lever will move and pull on these two products and pull the pedal down on the tow car.
Great. So it's a surge brake, but it's fully mechanical, nothing hydraulic, nothing electric, which makes it so easy to install. And of course, this says right on it, it's got an 8,000-pound tow capacity. That's pretty stout.
Yes, it is.
So if you have a tow bar, but you don't have a surge brake, or if you don't have a brake, and a lot of states now by law require, if you're towing a vehicle, that it has to apply the brakes in the vehicle being towed when you step on the brakes in your coach. So this will adapt to anything?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody's tow bar, I don't care what brand it is, whether it has a receiver style or a ball style, it will fit both of them.
So that's a great way to add brakes to your vehicle safely, and you know it's got great capacity and it's a nice product. But you also make tow bars.
Absolutely. This is an aluminum 8,000-pound towing capacity tow bar, and it will adapt to any brand of a base plate by using these clevises that we manufacture. These are billet aluminum, but they will go ahead and hook to any Demco, Blue Ox, or Roadmaster base plate. So you just tell us what kind of a base plate you are going to go ahead and use, and we'll send it out the door with those on it.
Okay, so if you already have a set of base plates on a vehicle, sometimes you buy a tow vehicle, it's already got them on here, and that's these deals right here that you saw me tying up in the front. Their clevis goes right in there, pin goes through it, got plenty of pivot that way. And if you have somebody else's base plates, you can adapt this to anyone.
Absolutely.
Using these different styles of clevers.
Absolutely.
Now, the other thing I noticed, you got this little movement here.
Yes.
And I guess the clevis goes through that. That's to when you go over a driveway, you don't get in a bind.
Absolutely, exactly.
Okay. Well, we know a surge brake can be expensive. People bought tow bars, they know how expensive they are.
Yes.
What do you got here?
This is a tow bar with a supplemental brake system integrated into it. Nobody else in the industry manufactures a tow bar with a brake integrated into it. Okay. We are the only ones to do this. Okay, so the receiver part of it's steel, the rest of it's aluminum. It looks like it's all powder coated. Let's talk about warranty. People are always concerned about warranty. All of our products come with a bumper-to-bumper lifetime guarantee, except the wear products. Okay. You got a great way to go. If you have somebody else's tow bar, you can add a surge brake to it. If you don't have a tow bar, you can buy a tow bar. If you want to get the whole thing at once, you're buying a new vehicle to tow behind your coach, you can get one of these Ready Brute Elites, and it's got the tow bar, the clevises, and the surge brake all hooked together.
We're here in Indianapolis at the Hot Rod Restoration Trade Show, and we're here at STEELE Rubber. And folks, if you got a hot rod or a car you're trying to restore, one of the big problems is trying to get all the seals for it.
This is Matt Augusta. He's the man. Matt, tell us what's new in STEELE rubber.
Well, we're always getting something new. One of the things that we do is we just try to keep up to date in every which way we can. We just finished a 2-year project on completely revamping our whole e-commerce site.
Oh.
So we have a really easy to use site where you can dial down your make, model, style and get all the parts to fit your particular car. You know, no more of this trying to find a tree in the forest thing. It just comes right out to you. And if you're looking for other things, you can look through categories, or you can go in with keywords, OEM numbers, variety of different ways. So it makes it real simple, and it's always up to date.
And your catalog's online now too, right?
Right. No longer have a paper catalog, at least that we can send out. We've got a PDF catalog on site that you can look at. There again, we can update it all the time. You can't do that with a paper catalog. Our customers can look through it. They can download it if they need to.
So the important thing is if you go online, you can find your part easily, and if you want it, all you have to do is click on it.
Put in your credit card, put it on PayPal, whichever way you like to do it. You get it, and it's immediate to the warehouse, and it gets shipped right away.
Well, if you want more information on that, folks, all you have to do is go to their website and check it out. How long are you going to take to do that?
I don't want to rush it, but
You're not doing that. Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, you know, if you've got a camper trailer or a motorhome and you've ever tried to climb up one of those flimsy ladders they have on their thing, well, you know you're taking your life in your own hands. What we found here is a really cool ladder that's an easy installation, or at least it's supposed to be easy. Sam makes it look kind of hard.
I know that's the only thing with less than 30 pounds. Pass it up here, will you please?
Anyway, here you go, bud. This is one heck of a nice thing to have on here.
Wish I had one of these on my motor. I'm gonna have to come up, man. There we go.
You got it?
Yep. Bring it in. Are you supposed to be making it? Oh, too much, too much.
Right there.
There we go, right there. Let me pop this bolt through here. Oh, look at that. Now.
I'll let Bob do this. He's supposed to be the master at this.
Yeah, Bob, give him a hand, will you?
Sam does make it look.
Stay still, stay still. There we go.
It's an easy job look impossible, doesn't it?
I mean, my grandmother could do it.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Since you're here to give him some hand, I got another project I'm working on. I'm going to leave you guys alone.
Bob, I put a little bit of Loctite on these threads. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
And you can't over tighten these. Well, you can. You should tighten them down just enough so they'll pivot, right?
That's correct. We've got a cap that seats just off of being tight, because if you over tighten them, you'll break the cap, but that way it still allows the ladder to swing.
This is real simple. You mount a bracket on top here, and you got 3 bolts that go through to the chassis. Now, it can be aluminum inside here, it could be wood. So depending on whether you're going to use metal screws or lag screws. Get that set up, that's in pretty good shape. Like on my motor coach and campers I've had, they got those flimsy pipe ladders, little runs, and boy, you could slip and fall off of that. If you're trying to carry something up, it's impossible. So where'd the idea for this ladder come from?
Well, we've been in the horse business for years, and really, originally I was watching my dad struggle going up and down a ladder, so we figured out a better way to make just a better mousetrap.
Absolutely.
And it mounts on the top, right under your rain lip. It'll mount on the bottom edge of your trailer, and it telescopes out to 41 angle, which allows you easy egress and access to your ladder.
Now, it's self-locked.
Yes, sir. It'll self-lock right where it's at.
And I notice you got non-skid pads here.
That's correct.
You know how many people slip off an RV ladder? And again, they go vertically up and down. It's impossible. Look at this. Nice handrails. You got your 12-pack of beer for the race on your shoulder. Come up here. It's great. You can get up and clean your roof, service your AC. What's the weight capacity of this thing?
The weight capacity is 300 pounds, but we weight load test these ladders to 1,500 pounds.
Can't beat that. Okay, so we put it back in. Now for travel, lift this up, slide this right here like that.
Yes, sir.
Down. Perfect. And this, I guess, is a spring-loaded latch?
Yes, sir, and it latches. And the nice thing about this, when you latch this ladders, it lines up for, you can still clip. If you're in a tight situation, you can't telescope it,
right,
you can still climb up and down your ladder. You can still access your roof.
When some inconsiderate person parks their car right up against your tire.
Yes.
This is a nice installation, and this is all aluminum at 6061?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so now I want to get one of these. This is a little Jayco. You made these all custom special for each individual application.
Yes.
All right, so if somebody wants to call you, go to your website and order a ladder, what do they do to tell you what they need so you can make it?
Like I said, well, you want to measure from the top of your ladder, you want right under your rain lip to the bottom of your carriage, or the bottom of your body.
So you would take a measurement like about here.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And get down to here.
Bottom of your body,
okay.
And from the top to the ground. We need 2 measurements, from the top to the bottom of the body, and the top to the ground.
So you can figure the angle.
So we can figure the angle, that's correct. Because some motorhomes are a little taller than others, and we fight different battles with that. Yes, sir.
Well, this is great. It's a real safety item. It's secure when you travel. Made of aluminum, weighs less than 30 pounds, doesn't interfere with your spare tire carrier or your lighting. This is a great program here, buddy.
Check this thing out, see how you guys did.
You got to do this, see?
Oh, looks
Pull
good.
this up, yeah. And then this comes up, and then even you can do this.
Even me.
And if you can do it, anyone can do it.
This is too nice for me. This is a nice piece.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, it didn't take you too long to get it up there. It was easier than you thought, wasn't it?
It was. It was a lot easier. Step above ladders are great. We appreciate you coming by and showing us this thing, and I'm sure this gentleman's going to enjoy it on his camper.
I appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.
You know what? I wish we had this camper a little while ago, because Sam and I took a trip out to the West Coast, out to Sacramento. This would have been nicer to travel with this than that horrible airplane ride we were on. Anyway, we're going to show you what we did out there. We went to B&M at Sacramento. We're going to show you exactly what they had, so stay with us.
This week's OPGI restoration tip, we're going to be installing a rear sway bar. On one of our previous restoration tips, we had discussed non-box control arms versus box control arms. In our 66 Chevelle here, we put in the box control arms. They already had the new bushings installed. They're already pre-drilled for the sway bar. At this point, the guys are installing a factory 1-inch bar. Now that's an upgraded bar. Originally it would have been a 7/8 bar from the factory, but we offer a 7/8 and a 1-inch. So with the 1-inch, you get a little bit more performance out of that sway bar. Available with this sway bar, you can purchase the grade 8 hardware for the installation and shims. The shims are pretty important as well. They're just going to make everything square, make sure everything's aligned perfectly. In this particular case, it doesn't look like there are any shims on this one. In some cars you will, in some cars you won't. That's this week's OPGI restoration tip.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust, and by B&M Racing and Performance, quality performance products that work, and by Bruin Brake Cables, made in the USA, certified.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, everybody knows that heat can kill a transmission. If you're doing any heavy towing or any high performance work, you want to put in a transmission cooler.
That's right. A transmission cooler is real critical, a good one. And of course, if you want to do it right, a trans temp gauge, so you can keep an eye on the transmission temperature. But if you do a cooler, do a good one.
Exactly. This is a B&M super cooler that we're putting in there. You can see this is a ruggedly built one, and it's been pressure tested up to about 200 PSI. So this is good and rugged, and it's not that hard to put in. Right.
And the lines you can use good, solid, rubber lines, as long as they're double braided. We chose to use these stainless braided lines and AN fittings, and it's real important when you start putting the fittings into this aluminum cooler.
Yeah, especially when you do that, you want to put some anti-seize compound on there, because if you don't, you're going to gall that together, then you got a real problem. So we've already done that. The next step is the mounting kit that you have to get for it.
Right. B&M makes this kit. This is really a nice kit. You got these little screws that go through the cooler, through the radiator. You've got retainers. And you also have vibration isolation pads. You don't want to tie this cooler down tight in a metal bracket to the frame, because if you get things twisting, that can damage the cooler. Let it float on the radiator. It does this. These mounting things do a great job.
Exactly. And what that does is it mounts just like this. There's a little ring that goes here, slides on through and on through your radiator. That way you got this separate from the radiator core, but it's enough movement in there that it doesn't vibrate and it'll last a long time.
Long line goes to the top. We're going to mount this with the lines horizontally coming out. Then they'll go back down and they'll tie into the transmission cooler lines, go into the transmission. There you go, buddy.
All right, let me go ahead and we'll tighten these up. There we go.
Like this.
All right. There we go, shoving her through. Okay, bud. I got it in. Time for you to hook up the lines.
Yeah, well, you're bleeding. Took you a while. All right, we've got the B&M supercooler mounted on this radiator, got the braided lines. Here's another cooler. I really like these. In fact, I use one of these in my motorhome. This is B&M's high-tech cooler. Real rugged made, plate and fin style. Comes complete with a temp sensor in it. You got 2 half-inch MPTs and a nice cool fan. You just wire this together. According to the instructions, you need to ground it, bring a 12-volt fuse supply in. When the sensor picks up that the transmission temp is getting high, turns the fan on, this will really cool a lot. If you got a big truck, big motorhome, that'll work. But you know, I'm a fan of gauges. And a while back on this same Camaro, we put a B&M deep dish transmission pan. Here's a great way to go. Here's a gauge, comes complete. Knowing what your trans temp in is real important. You start getting up over 260, 270 degrees, you're starting to fry things. So it's easy to monitor. Now, if you don't have a deep pan with an NPT or 1/8 pipe thread for this sensor, you get a T in the kit, you T it into the cooler line. That way you can have a transmission temp gauge. This will screw right into there. But we're gonna go right into the oil pan we have in this. Little power to the gauge, we're ready to go. You want me to go, you crawl underneath here? I need to go higher.
I thought it was high enough for you.
I'll raise it up. All right, now, I've got our lines coming from the B&M supercooler down here, hooked up to the STEELE lines. These STEELE lines run back to the transmission. Remember, this automatic transmission came from the factory with a cooler in the radiator tank. The 2 lines went up there, went through that tank and back. We've eliminated that. We go directly to the supercooler, and that's gonna give us plenty of cooling for this transmission. Now, all these are nice and tight. We're gonna put fluid in it, fire it up, make sure you've got no leaks, check the transmission oil level, hot, idling in park or neutral. And of course, I'm not gonna leave these like this. I'm gonna get myself a nice clamp to hold these hoses, keep them apart so they don't vibrate together. You take your time, do a nice, neat job, you keep your transmission cool, and you'll get long life out of it in the torque converter.
We've run out of time. We'll see you again next time here on Motorhead Garage.